Here are my top 3 ways to build hamstring flexibility. So because everybody's flexibility is different, I'm not gonna tell you how wide apart to put your feet. It depends on your flexibility, where you're starting. So I'm gonna go about double shoulder width apart, maybe slightly wider. This is good for me. You can keep your knees slightly bent, no need to lock them out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna practice hinging at the hip first. So instead of rounding your back and reaching down trying to touch the ground, what I want you to do, you can keep your knees slightly bent. You're gonna brace, so you're gonna push your stomach, your obliques, your lower back, pretend you're wearing a weight belt. You can even do this with your hands. And I want you to just kind of flex and brace, push all the muscles out around 360 degrees. Don't worry about holding your breath. You might feel the need to at first, but I need you to keep breathing. After you've braced, we're gonna push the hips back. So I've got this wall behind me. If you have something behind me, a good foot away, that's a great prop or a tool to use, a good visual, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my hips back. And you can see as my hips go back, my back stays flat, and I start descending down to the ground. My knees are slightly bent, and you're gonna go ahead and put your hands towards the mat if you can. If it's too hard, no problem, put your hands on your knees. We're just gonna work on hinging, pushing the hips back, just this motion. Even with my knees bent, I feel this in my glutes and my hamstrings, right behind my legs. As you push and get comfortable, we can come out of it just a touch and then push straight back. We're gonna do this little pulsing motion. So really, this isn't me bending over, it's my hips pushing back and forth just like this, except at a little bit more of an extreme range down here. As my hips go back, my chest goes down. Come up just a touch, hips go down. You can put your hands on the ground, fantastic. If you're more flexible, you can start to lock your legs out either one at a time. So sometimes I'm really stiff, I'll straighten one, straighten the other, work back and forth until I can get them both locked out. There we go. Still focusing on pushing the hips back and keeping my back as flat as I can. I'm not trying to round and go between my legs right now. After you're comfortable here, going up and down several reps, we're gonna walk our hands to one side. I'm gonna pick my left side first. See if you can get towards that foot, dropping your chest towards that knee. After you've spent some time here, and like always, like I preach, you can pulse down here. This isn't a hard, ballistic, popping type of stretch. This is just gentle moving up and down. We can walk through the middle, grab another foot, same thing. Start getting some movement, bring the chest to the knee, up and down. My hips are pushed back. Still focus on the brace around your stomach, lower back, and oblique area, then back in the middle. From here, you can walk left and right, breathing the entire time. Bending your knees, coming back up. Okay, this brings us to number 2, exercise number 2. We're gonna do a strata. Now, if you've done gymnastics, dance, martial arts like myself, we are huge proponents in those arts of this position. Now, if you've done those arts at some time in the past, you may have gotten really good at this position, this straddle. If you've never done it, you may be closer than me. That's no problem. Everyone starts somewhere. Here we are. I'm about 90 degrees or so. All I want you to do is get comfortable sitting here. So we're not gonna have poor posture, not rounding our back. Just like before, think about lifting your chest, bracing right here, and we're gonna do a hinge movement. Now, the hips can't go backwards, so instead I'm gonna use my arms, I'm gonna help out, and I'm gonna walk myself forward. Now, my goal is to get my chest to the ground, not my head, especially when I teach kids. When I ask them to practice their straddle and work on stretching, everybody wants to put their head to their knee, head to the ground. Instead, we focus on putting chest, chin, down. Now, once I've reached my max right here, I can't go any lower. All I'm gonna do is little pulse. These little pulses I'm gonna be moving like 1 to 2 inches. All I'm gonna do is not just down, but I'm gonna think about going towards you, towards the camera, towards the audience, forward and back. I use my arms to assist. I'm still bracing around my obliques, lower back. And then with every 1 to 2 inches I move back and forth, I try to go maybe just a half an inch lower. Now I'm gonna spend some time doing this. Maybe it takes 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds, but eventually, especially if I'm going 60 seconds, you can see already I'm starting to get a little bit lower and lower each time I go down. And by the end of, a 60-second round of doing this, just because I'm pretty flexible and right now I'm warmed up, I just got done working out, I'm gonna be pretty close to the ground. Now, it's obviously okay if you are not, as long as you're making progress. From this position, after we've done this, again, I'm just giving you a random amount, 60 seconds. I play with the time. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's much shorter. After I've spent some time there, I'll sit up. Sometimes I shake my legs out, I bring my legs together, but then I start going towards my right and left side. So one hand on each side of my right leg here, for example. First, I focus on the posture, chest is out, my head is up, I brace, exhale as you go down. Once I've reached my limit, I don't just hold it here. I'm not a static stretcher. I don't believe in that. Instead, I use movement. Movement is medicine to me. Whether you're injured, you're working on flexibility, you're trying to get stronger, you've got to have some sort of movement, right? So you're breathing this entire time. My chest is to my knee. I think about my nose going towards my toes. So I'm getting longer with each 1 to 2 inch movement. And again, after I spend about 60 seconds or so here, I should be pretty darn low, getting close to my knee. After I've completed this side, I use my hands as much as I can. I walk, I twist, one hand on each side. See, my chest is out. I'm braced here, I'm pushing out, and I start exhaling as I go down, one hand on each side of that left leg. And then again, just going forward and back, dropping the chest to the knee, nose going towards the toes, and I'm thinking about through my spine, lower back, all the way to the top of my head. I'm getting longer with each movement I do here. Every 1 to 2 inches I move, I'm getting longer. So here's the third exercise. I'm gonna use a belt. You can grab a belt, a rope, martial arts belt. I've got a lot of martial arts belts laying around my martial arts school. What we'll do is my right leg, the one closest to you, I'm gonna loop this over. You can either keep it like this, or some people prefer to cross it like this to get a little better grip on it, but I'll leave that up to you. My second leg, my left leg here, I can keep bent, or if you want to straighten that out, again, it depends on your flexibility, your comfort level. From here, I'm gonna focus on getting my shoulders and head down first. So don't just start cranking this sucker back. Shoulders, head, relax it down, brace. So I'm squeezing again. What I'm gonna do from here, so I start with my knee bent. Now I'm pretty warmed up. I did a workout before this, and I did those other 2 stretching routines that I was doing for you. So I'm pretty loose here, but I do put this at the third because this is an intense one. I like to save this for last. I'm gonna start pulling back with my knee bent on purpose. Now from here, I'll try to straighten my leg, but when I get here, it is tough. So instead of straightening it here, what I'll do is I'll drop my heel just a little bit, push away, and as I push away, I straighten it, then I pull back. And I do these little motions like almost like I'm swimming. I bend it, push it away, straighten, pull back. So I'm not just staying here and stretching statically. I don't like that. I like to always add movement. Movement to me is medicine. So this is gonna be the first way I start to loosen up my hamstrings, swim my heel down, push it away, then pull it back. After that, after I feel good, what I'll do is I'll pull just a little bit more and test out my flexibility. When I was a teenager doing Taekwondo, I used to be able to get my toes down to here. I'm still working on getting back that flexibility I've lost, but we're all on a different journey, right? From this position now, I'm gonna let it hold on here. I'm gonna let it drop to the side. So I'm letting my foot drop towards you, pulling the toes back. And what I'm gonna do now is once I've reached down with my leg, I've dropped it to the ground, I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna loop my left arm around. Now this doesn't take much shoulder flexibility, this is more leg flexibility. Use your second hand to kind of help out, pull that guy back, and movement is medicine, so we're gonna move it up and down. From here, after you've spent some time here, I'll bring it back to that first position, pull it back, see if I've gained any more flexibility, get that swimming motion going, then drop it back out, see if I can go over my head a little bit easier with that left arm, pulling my right arm up. And the intention is here not for my body to go towards my leg. I want to keep my shoulders down, head down. I'm bringing my leg up to the side of my head, my ear, my right ear. So I'd love to get my shin and ankle all the way up here touching. Someday I will. And this is the third move in my series of trying to get your hamstrings. Okay, so I only did one leg in that last position. Make sure you get both legs in. Work this, let me know your results, comment below. Keep moving forward.